to the task. Let's get ourselves into this one. Johnny, again, I cannot wait. What a day we are having.
Look out for Alpha 54 in particular. He was right back to his hard carry self. Not that K-Dop or Radostin were proving to be difficult to carry yesterday. They were just completely facilitating him and allowing him to shine and prove that he's still one of the best players in the world. He's going to be the guy that BDS are the most scared of in this matchup today.
It's just, as we mentioned, or as I was talking about with Gregor yesterday, it's so hard to know how these teams are going to play. Everything we've done so far is just speculation. This is our chance to finally start finding out the answers. How are these players going to start locking in? That's Extra just going to play it back to his own teammate. The big reminder on this one as well is that we're done now with transfers. These are the teams, if they're going to go to the World Championships and become officially the best team in the world, you're doing it here. So if this was a bad roster move, you can't fix it anymore.
I wonder if there's ever a world where this goes so poorly for BDS that they bring Mark back off the subspec, unbench Mark. That's, I'm sure, something some people are hoping for, but not going that way already. Monkey Moon to Extra. You put Seiko on the roster. He's not even needed for the first goal against Vitality.
Yeah, Monkey Moon just drops it down for Extra. Well, they will be very disappointed with the oncoming challenge, but if that was from K-Dop. K-Dop's a player with a lot of question marks above him in this season. It was him and Fairy Peak I think a lot of people were looking towards. Obviously, Fairy Peak was the player moved on. But there is just the feeling there, isn't there, Johnny, that if this doesn't work, K-Dop might be next. So that's number 2.
Wow. And that's a lot easier than we expected it to be. And a massive miscommunication by Radostin and K-Dop. Radostin trying to just keep the ball in the corner there. He's trying to send it into defense, but K-Dop had other ideas. He thought it was a back pass. So they need to get this communication sorted out. BDS will not need any help to be scoring goals. They're extremely efficient at creating chances. Vitality giving them a little bit of assistance early on in game 1.
Yeah, the game already starting to get away from Vitality. It was a good goal to start off, but that second one was diabolical. Monkey Moon playing back. BDS showing a large willingness to get back into their own back corner. Something that we see utilized an awful lot in ones as Radostin coming in from the off angle is able to get the clear. But BDS just settling down here. They know that already. The job's kind of done for them. You just need to settle down, force Vitality to come towards them and maybe pick up another mistake.
Yeah, that back corner defense is something that all the top teams are trying to utilize these days. We saw it a ton from Tho and from Solary in the previous series versus Moist. Tho just holding the ball in that back corner, even if he's completely boost starved, getting goal side of it, and just allowing the challenge from the opposing players to be used against them, as they're the players charging in, really giving a lot of force to the ball. And if you can just get behind it, then you can deflect it into a favorable location. So I expect to see that from Vitality, especially because they're the team who are going to probably be on the back foot against the BDS, who are the experts of pressure in the open era of Rocket League.
So far, Vitality struggling to get rid of this ball. Even when they get the 2v1, it seems to be going against them. BDS cutting rotation more and more as this minutes go along. Just don't seem to have that fear of Vitality right now as a huge dive in. Being very desperate. There's Extra to try and make it free. He's not able to get past Radostin, who was doing a lot more defending than I'm sure he dreamt of when it came to getting into this match. Vitality up against it right now. Finally a chance. K-Dop over to Radostin. Tried the fake. He gets it. There's another infield to K-Dop. That's in. And that was needed.
Vitality have had almost no chances on net. No realistic chances up until now. But suddenly they burst into life. Alpha infield pass to K-Dop. Timed perfectly with Radostin's demo and the goalkeeper. And they're back within 1. They're able to get something going in offense like this, even on occasion. And this could be a competitive matchup.
And it just needs one more at this point. Everything else that we have seen, no matter how much of the momentum the BDS have had, it doesn't matter anymore. Just got to hold on to this. Radostin can't crunch through the challenge. Neither can the follow-up. Extra showing off those shoulder muscles. Gets the bump of Radostin and K-Dop cleans up. Original shot, I believe, was going to hit the post either way, but K-Dop taking absolutely no chances. Vitality don't want to get stuck back here. They spent a good 3 minutes without being able to get rid of this ball from their own side of the field. They don't have that sort of time anymore. BDS, just challenge after challenge. None of this is with the intention to try and score a goal. All of it is just to try and keep it away from Vitality.
They're just stifling them. They're taking the boost away. They're keeping the ball off them. And they're just waiting for opportunities. Extra creates one all by himself. He is threatening a ceiling shot the entire way from the ceiling to the floor here. But it's not a ceiling shot. He does not use his dodge. He just waits for the ball to reach the ground and pinches it past the goalkeepers.
That's so brilliant by Extra. It was just the perfect height the entire way. Vitality had to respect that at any moment he can just go for it. That 2-goal lead is back, maybe temporarily. They need to get up there. He's got his second, and he's kept Vitality in it.
K-Dop getting a beat on the way in there and capitalizing on BDS just panicking as the ball ended up on their goal line. Everybody threw themselves at it. Seiko just slightly too close to the play to follow up on what ended up being an open net. With 40 seconds to go, we're back to a 1-goal game.
K-Dop looking to try and get there before Extra. There's usually a lot of players we can say trying to get there before Extra. They don't tend to win it, and that is why Extra was not the player everybody was talking about when they saw this roster. He's starting to show maybe he should have been.
What a pass by Extra. He has caught Monkeyman mid-air with the pre-jump. But usually pre-jump plays have a bit of a bigger gap between them so you can react to the pass coming towards you. That one was immediate. And now Extra's pre-flip challenge will deny Vitality a comeback goal once again. Excellent play by Monkeyman to know exactly where to jump, but I think the credit really has to go to Extra there mostly because nailing a pass like that in close quarters is so difficult to do. Vitality now down by 3. Game 1 will go to BDS. And the new look BDS look every bit as deadly in offense. A couple of mistakes in defense, but they really controlled this match start to finish.
I think that's what scares me right now, Johnny, is that it was controlled. You just look at this and think, BDS have got another gear to them, as Monkey Moon is going to make this look, well, relatively unclose by the end. As for Vitality, there's been some whoopsies. There's been a lot of them.
Yeah, get that out your system. Get it out the system, Rodostin. The cheeky kickoff. They were actually trying to go for a kickoff that you usually see in freestyle videos in Rocket League. The fast kickoff to the side of the pitch. I mean, they're very educational there by BDS to show why it is such a dangerous strategy to use, because you might just get dunked on and then the ball flies into your net. That's why you never really see that one in pro play. But it is a good way to counter any opponent who is trying to slowly approach the ball and trying to get a big blocking strategy on the kickoff. So it does have its place. You know, when you're down by 3, not a lot of time left in the clock, you've got to do something weird on the kickoff. So can't really fault them there. It didn't work, but love to see teams thinking about the kickoff that they're going to go for.
9 shots for Monkey Moon. You just start to worry, how much space is Monkey Moon going to find for himself these days when he's got this level of play around him and doesn't need to be the player that is sort of ball carrying an awful lot, slowing down the play. He's got that now in the form of Seiko. He can do that as well. It's a very tough to judge BDS team because they don't do one thing only well. They do a lot of things well, and they can continue to adjust depending on what you're doing.
Well, one of the aspects of this lineup that has become a lot easier for Monkey Moon is reading his teammates, because one of the things that made Mark by 8 and still does make Mark by 8 such a great player is he's so difficult to read, but that works both ways. Sometimes he was difficult for Monkey Moon to read, and you see double commits where Monkey Moon just wants to go and hit the ball for free, but Mark by 8 wants to make a cut of rotation and hit it sideways. Well, that's not going to happen as much with Seiko in the roster, because Seiko's a lot more conventional with his playstyle today. He is trying to play more of a consistent rotation, and we're seeing Monkey Moon do like so much for BDS right now, and he always was that guy who was doing the most, but I think he's still going to be the guy doing the most even when you plug Seiko into the team. Seiko doesn't have to make the big solo plays anymore that he did on Endpoint. You've got a triple threat now, and you know, at times Endpoint would be that triple threat, but BDS are always that triple threat.
And we're seeing dive-ins, everything from Vitality. They just want to try and get some sort of foothold in this game. Instead, BDS right back to where they were in the last one, controlling that midfield, getting the challenges that they want. Here is Alpha, looking to try and show off what he's capable of. As we know, Alpha, one of the most difficult to read players when he's on the ball. But this is very slow. Vitality can't figure it out. Bit of a calamity from both of the squads there. Here is Seiko.
Bad timing on that by Seiko to turn and cut in front of a teammate right after I point out that that's not going to be happening as much with Seiko as it did with Mark. You know, they're still going to have to learn how to play with Seiko. Seiko's going to have to learn how to play with BDS. They've got a very particular system, a very aggressive style of play, very high pressure style of play, just completely squandering their opponents. But Alpha 54, big chance for him, denied by the crossbar post. Will not get up shot wide. You expect Alpha 54 to be putting that double on target.
Extra now already trying to settle down for where K-Dop was going to go. First sustained offense that we've had from Vitality. Didn't really get to last too long. Looks to try and go yet again. Radosin back to K-Dop. He's gone over the top. As Alpha puts the ball just wide. Extra, plenty of time for him. You do get slightly worried here when we get the amount of dive-ins that we've had from Vitality. Then you start to look at their recoveries. Can they play that sort of style and still get back just in time when the counter-attack inevitably does happen? I don't think they've had to face that just yet, but it's something to look out for.
Vitality will take a 0-0 draw at this point. I mean, if they could take a 0-0 draw in game 2, I'm sure they would after what we saw in the last game. But unfortunately, that's not how it works in Rocket League. You can't settle for a tie. Really does hinder the park the bus strategy that many teams like to go for. Monkey Moon stealing double into the reset. Shut down well by Radosin there. Great height on the challenge to block both threats that Monkey Moon is posing. The mind game and the flip reset flip.
It's out to Monkey Moon. He'll be unchallenged at least for now, but the first touch lets him down. Pops out. Extra. Again, doesn't take the shot. BDS are waiting, biding their time. It also kind of shows that they don't really trust in Vitality to get the transitions done. Just happy to hold on to that midfield. K-Dop tries to prove them wrong. He's off to steal some boost. And where are Vitality? They're taking their time getting over. You can't let Seiko settle down like that.
It feels like BDS have control. It's been a pretty even matchup in terms of where the game is being played, especially compared to game number 1, where BDS were just all over Vitality territorially. Now Vitality are getting forward more, but apart from the Alpha 54 double, there haven't been any clear-cut chances. So BDS ironing out those mistakes that they had in game number 1. They're communicating a lot more cleanly. It's another advantage, of course, that having a full French roster will bring. Seiko infield to Monkey Moon. He's tried to pass that one up off the ceiling to Extra, but again, Radosin able to shut him down.
Midfield currently belonging over to BDS, but now this is the sort of situation that Vitality are happy to be in. They've managed to keep the score low, and it's just one play either side that might hand this game away. Extra off the wall. Not the strongest kit clear from K-Dop. Seiko back in control over in that midfield. You see BDS, they swarm over, predicting where that clear is going to go. Double commit. Very hard to read if you are a defender, but Vitality have done well. Final 10 seconds. Not going to go down in the annals as one of the most exciting games of Rocket League ever, but Vitality have done what they needed to do. It all comes down to one, or those Seiko might go the whole way. It's off the backboard. Extra tasked with finishing this off. His shot's going nowhere, and we have overtime.
Yeah, don't speak too soon with Seiko on the ball. He's ruined many a team's days with last-second goals, but Alpha is going to ruin BDS run through this series with a 5-second overtime goal. Seiko trying to be a bit too greedy there, wanted the big win as he tried to get the ball past multiple players after picking it up in the back corner, but he didn't have support. K-Dop leaves the shot for Alpha 54, who buries it. Vitality have tied the series.
Operation successful there for Vitality. They have got themselves back to 1 each. And it was very strong defensively. They've really struggled, I feel, to get rid of the ball. But it didn't matter. You know, they could just hold off. They did a great job of conserving the boost, making sure that no situation really got all that dire. And in fact, probably the biggest threat that they had was at 0 seconds. And even that one was seen away. So very good response here from Vitality just to calm the series down a little bit. So early doors here, Johnny. How are we feeling about the newbies on these teams?
I'm loving what I'm seeing from Radosin in particular. I think he's really shining. He's allowing Vitality to thrive. His defensive work has been exactly what Vitality have needed. They looked so vulnerable, losing so many games, so many series with ridiculous scorelines going as back as the fall major, or as far back as the fall major. But now with Radosin making countless saves, countless successful challenges as well, Vitality look a lot harder to beat. Now, we haven't seen the offensive pop-off from Alpha 54 and from the rest of Vitality so far today. But they just took a win against BDS without doing that. They just relied on their defense and their boost management and their communication.
You win this series, you guarantee yourself a top 3. Massive when it comes to potential London qualification. You see the shot. Monkey Moon looks for the follow-up. He drops it down over to Extra. This is more the pace that they like. Double commit needed. And they need Alpha, who couldn't stretch to it. And Seiko finds the bottom corner.
Yeah, K-Dop got the initial block, but Alpha left the goal area. Bit of a mistake by him. He thought he might be able to chase that touch from K-Dop, get a big clear on target. Seiko was just far too close to the ball there for Alpha to be vacating the goal area. He wasn't out of boost. He was just trying to follow up. Not a good time to be doing that as third man.
Yeah, it's the same sort of situation that we saw Vitality in a lot in the last game. Just for the first time, the decision-making was not correct. It's so difficult just to continuously be right for a whole 5 minutes. Vitality have got to try and get themselves back into this. They've done it a couple of times. Game 1 really had a never say die attitude. K-Dop, plenty of time. That first touch let him down. They'll still recover the play, however, and he has got options. Radosin off the pre-jump.
Okay.
That was asking an awful lot, but Radosin, I really believe, can do it.
Yeah, really good recovery there by K-Dop after the first touch went sideways. And I love the confidence from Radosin trying to make something happen in offense. He's been a defensive star for Vitality so far. Doesn't want to just do that. He wants to show the world that he can do everything. As you really do just need players that can do everything these days. There's no such thing as a real true third man anymore, as teams like G2 and Moist have shown. Teams will perform at their absolute best when the roles are interchangeable, when teams are unpredictable, and that's what BDS are trying to be right now with these little breaks of rotation, but it's not working their way. Extra cuts off Monkey Moon.
Radosin well positioned, however. Just gets the transition completed there for Vitality, something that has been a struggle in this series. Doesn't last long, however. Extra almost found the infield. Again, well cut out. Radosin is reading the game well. Alpha off the wall. Tried to find a teammate. Well, backed off yet again. Vitality are doing a solid job of not over-committing, but they need to start creating chances for themselves because they're just getting little looks at the opposing side of the field, off the post. I think that's the first time in quite some time, Johnny, we've seen the post be nice.
Seiko making K-Dop's pre-jump look a little bit silly there, and like you mentioned, Extra 1-2 with the post. I'm loving Extra's 50-50s. He's letting his opponents flip into the ball and trying to just keep control, and Vitality are going to need to clock onto that and realize that Extra is not going to be easy to dunk on. You've got to stop throwing yourself at this guy. We've seen that from Vatira today when he was in the Fennec. We've seen it from Tho as well. When players are just doing exactly what Extra is doing, just getting behind the ball and jumping at the right moment, it is so hard to force the ball through them. You've got to change your game plan. It becomes less of a play to win, more of a, okay, let's just not lose this 50-50 kind of deal, which is funny because all day we've been saying teams need to play to win instead of playing not to lose. Well, not in the 50-50s. You know, legendary former Vitality player Fairy Peak once said, how do you win 50s? You try not to lose them.
Oh, that's a good position. Nobody on the far side, however, in a pinch to escape their side of the field. Miss from Alpha. He's had a couple of those. This has been one of the more shaky games for him. That's the ceiling, that 2-goal lead looming large over Vitality. They've not had an answer here in this game. Arguably their quietest yet. Monkey Moon looks to take the shot. Wanted to see if he had K-Dop napping. Typically, you'd expect to see him go up to the ceiling or, you know, go for the air dribble for that sort of play. Just a quick think fast sort of moment. With 1 minute left, they're not needing to think fast. They need to play fast. Vitality, so much work to do. They need to start creating some chances.
That really has been one of the issues for Vitality in this matchup. They look like the slower team. They look like the team who are struggling to keep up with BDS mechanically. BDS have been so patient. They've waited for their chances. Seiko puts in another one. Extra, once again, will take the applause for a great read, almost scoring that one himself with the eventual assist that he's been credited with.
I do have a slight problem with Vitality's positioning. They have somebody that they are designating to go for the ball when those plays are being done, but the players that are supposed to trust that first man don't seem to trust that first man at all. They're going early, they're getting out of their goal line, and they're getting caught out because of it. I think just sit behind a little bit more and you can run onto it. Instead of whenever the ball is not being played the way they expect it to, they're just done from there. There's nowhere else they can go.
And also when it comes to offense, they are struggling to create chances. This is another shot gets saved by the post at Vitality's end. Extra nearly onto the score sheet again. Vitality have got to attack like a team. They don't look like they're attacking as a unit right now. We saw how much of a difference it made for Solary earlier on today against Meist when they started attacking as a full three-man roster. They weren't just taking turns, making a play, and then rotating out. They started to look for more off the ball physicality, and they started to try and follow up really quickly on each other's touches in the final third. This series so far, it looks to me like a matchup that Vitality just are not comfortable doing that. They don't trust themselves to be able to beat BDS to the ball. But, you know, if they don't start at least trying to do that, I think BDS are just going to continue looking comfortable. They've only conceded when they've made mistakes. Vitality have not really forced any of these. Even in game one, when Vitality did score, it was first goal. Demo happening at the same time as an infield pass and an immediate shot. If Vitality can't replicate that kind of link up in offense, I don't see them being a big problem for BDS today.
Yeah, I definitely have to agree with that right now. And this is a sort of series where BDS are comfortable. You know, we haven't seen, as much as we hyped up, you know, the individual plays that we might get from Monkey Moon and from Seiko. This has been extra series. This is the sort of series that he loves to play, and he gets to dictate where the rotation goes. He gets to intercept everything and just hold that midfield. And Vitality have had no answer to it so far. So extra, proving that there are so many layers to this new look at BDS. And there's a couple of layers that we have not seen just yet because, well, they haven't been required.
Man, I really wonder, is Extra going to be the biggest winner from this new look roster for BDS with Seiko? Because he was probably the guy who had the hardest job. Oh, Seiko's going to walk in one goal already. Well, I thought that was going to be saved, but only took them 4 seconds. As Alpha leaves the play, Seiko just walks right past Rudosen, who flips the wrong way. Something I'm sure a lot of us can relate to, but you don't expect to see that at pro level.
Absolutely not, and it puts Vitality into a position that they've not looked comfortable at all, one where they have to be the aggressors. Remember their first game win coming from just holding on, showing off that magnificent defense that they had over in Aquadome, and then taking the win very early on over in the overtime. Now they have to go and create, and it is now going to be Seiko trying to chase down. Extra jumps up, takes the ball away from Alpha. He's got a second one as well. Vitality aware of that, choosing not to send extra players. Seiko, good challenge. Monkey Moon up into the air. He has got Seiko in support, and what a save by Rudosen.
Rudosen is going to transfer this into an offensive play as well now. Extra cuts him short before he can get the air dribble bump started. This is really just turning into a great display of everything Extra can do. He's creating chances. He is denying his opponent. Monkey Moon's going to have to chase this. He ran out of boost. Monkey Moon knew that it wasn't on target, so he just lets it bounce off the backboard. And now he's got boost to start something going in offense, denied by Alpha 54 for now.
Oh, good touch by Alpha. Put it behind Seiko. Did have that support. That support is now gone in field. Monkey Moon aggressively takes on the defensive role. Did not want to deal with any infield passing shots. Just got right over to it. Here is K-Dop yet again. K-Dop needs to be able to follow those. He needs to be able to just sit behind the ball and force at least a 50-50 in the air. Instead, it's just hard clears for a team that are ready and waiting for them. Extra off the wall. He can keep this going. It's back out to Monkey Moon. 2-0. Vitality struggling with the pace of Extra.
Yeah, Extra can't put a wheel wrong today. He's bumped everybody out of that one. Alpha I think he just needs to do something a bit sooner there. He's already got K-Dot behind him, ready to cover the net. Alpha doesn't need to do the same thing. He should try and force Extra to make a move before he reaches point-blank range. At that point, it's hard to react. And Extra calling the bluff there. Radilson is trying to catch him out with. But they're going to get another chance. Monkey Moon swats that one to the side. That's better from Vitality. They're quickly following up with shots after these infield passes. Is it becoming too predictable though? Seiko denies that one at the point of contact.
It's important to reiterate as well just how important this tournament as a whole is for Vitality. With Evil Geniuses out on day number 1, those top spots, those World Championship spots are really up for grabs. Vitality can make a very good impression on those with a good performance here. Here is Alpha off the wall. Seiko, good challenge. Isn't going to have the support. Doesn't need it. They're the team with 2 goals. Still, Seiko's just sticking around. They're testing Vitality here. Vitality finally get rid of the ball, but again, it's that back corner. Good pressure being put on this time, though. Vitality get to continue. And BDS just waiting it out. Get rid of the pressure. Monkey Moon actually might have set up K-Dop. K-Dop just went for it that time around, and I tell you what, I love it.
Yeah, I want to see more from that from Vitality. They're too predictable right now. They're not going to beat BDS by playing normal Rocket League. BDS are just too mechanical. They're too fast. They're just too good at this. And clearly when the matchup is playing out as it is right now, BDS, they're in full control. Vitality have got to get weird. They've got to do something different. They need to try and catch BDS off guard. So what they're doing right now is simply not working. Radoston's looked very solid in defense at times. Alpha 54, unfortunately not bringing his A game in offense today. And, you know, we mentioned how important this split is for Vitality and how important the series is for Vitality. More particularly, how important is this for K-Dop, a player who's always been in a position throughout his long Rocket League career. Someone who's been around at RLCS LAN since Season 2. He's always been in a position where he can make roster changes, he can make roster decisions, but Radilson is playing quite well right now. Alpha 54 is Alpha 54, so if Vitality struggle, would that be the time that K-Dop needs to be the one to be looked at, especially when they decided to go with him over Fairy Peak going into this split.
Off the backboard, and Alpha 54 breathes some life into this game. This is the best run of play that we've had from Vitality in the entirety of this series. Positioned well, held the pressure, stole the boost. Just good fundamental Rocket League from them, and they've given themselves a lifeline.
And I do love that Alpha is willing to pass off. Same as game number 1, they're 2-0 down, and he's passed off the ball in field to a teammate. This time, K-Dop gives it back to him for the goal. So that's trust from Alpha. He doesn't want to just make a solo play every single time. He's not trying to take over the lobby. He knows that that's not going to work. You need a team performance if you're going to beat a team like BDS.
Extra puts the shot up high. Radoston recovers well off the backboard. He's got Alpha in support. Back over to K-Dop. Off the backboard. Have they got anybody left around? In goes Radoston. Passes off to Alpha. What a play. We wanted some creativity from Vitality. That was so much improved. And they might even have one more shot at this. Alpha to himself. He's done with the team plays. It's Alpha time. Now Radoston takes it by himself. That was a bit wasteful. Seiko waiting for it. And Monkey Moon unable to get the control. The BDS win nonetheless.
Yeah, that Monkey Moon BM play on 0 seconds, but definitely sending a message to Vitality. You know, you might be coming back in game number 4, sorry, but it's not close. We're actually more likely to score at the end than you are, but you couldn't get it done. Yeah, much to think about for Vitality. I wouldn't be surprised if they call a timeout here, just to try and do something different. This is exactly the moment where Stillery called a timeout in their series against Moist, and it worked out really well for them. Vitality have got to make many of the same changes. You know, I don't think they even look as solid as Solary did defensively. They look less consistent. They're making a few more mistakes. And then they have less firepower as well. So they've got a bigger difference to make up, I would say. They've decided not to do it. They're just going to get right back into action. Not sure I'm on board with that, but we'll see if Vitality have got any kind of game plan change. If they got any kind of step up in terms of mechanics going into this next game. They really need it. That game might have been 1 goal difference, but it looked like a lot more.
And no timeout taken by Vitality, so don't expect to see theirs burn. BDS not a team known for taking timeouts, and they're certainly not going to need it. 1 goal up yet again, early doors. And it's off the kickoff once again.
Yeah, not the correct player to be going for there. Reducin demoing Monkey Moon, who didn't have any boost in the play. Seiko's the one who had boost and was ready to make a play on the ball. If you cheat up close on the kickoff and end up on the wrong side of it, you do have to make a physical play happen, but not on the guy who just took the kickoff. It's the guy who's following up there, so wrong target selection there for Redusin.
Drop down, Seiko, oh, double commit, and that's the open net. Vitality handed a goal, a rare miscommunication by BDS.
Yeah, Extra and Seiko very close to each other there, so there's not really any time to communicate whose ball it is. You just have to trust whoever does decide to go. Unfortunately for BDS, Seiko did not pick a safe option. He's hit the ball straight towards the pre-jumping K-Dop. He did not have to do that. He could have gone right into the sidewall and guaranteed at least a neutral position off the back of it. Instead went for the risk, and unfortunately it didn't pay off. No reward for them, but he gets some here. Pre-jumping defender for Vitality, outplayed at the near post. Seiko, after receiving Extra's pass, just took his time and picked out the bottom corner.
Alpha will not be thanking him for that. Made him look a little bit silly, since he did have to pre-jump the possibility of the first-time shot. Just ended up slotting it right underneath him. Now Monkey Moon with a chance to try and flex some of those mechanics off the ceiling. Just waits and puts it in.
This is getting ugly now for Vitality. They need something quickly. Alpha just did not play the ball there, which doesn't make life easy for his goalkeeper. Great play by Monkey Moon to delay the first shot. Really made it look convincing as well. You can understand why Alpha would try and pre-jump him and block the high shot. But really in those situations, you have to play the ball. And it's not the first time this series that Alpha has been thinking about how he's going to win the ball rather than thinking about how his team is going to win the ball in defense. Goalkeeper had no chance and doesn't have any chance either. Here, Monkey Moon starting to pop off on Wasteland.
Rare occasion where BDS just weren't able to execute on their plan. Seiko with Extra on the backboard. 6 boost, 12 boost, still finds the set. Now Monkey Moon has the infield option. Seiko is pre-jumping. I think that this one is done. They are getting more and more wacky with the way that they are trying to find their goals. And it's up to K-Dop and the rest of Vitality just to re-establish some respect for themselves. Pass over to Seiko. Waits for it this time. Immediately met on the challenge. And the Vitality have struggled with. Alpha with the pop-up. No follow-up around, though, from Vitality. Vitality at least have stabilized. This game was getting very much out of hand. And in the very first minute. We've seen Vitality make these scary in the final minutes as well. Off the backboard, Seiko jumps for it. That was a lot of boost used. We've seen more backboard play coming out. Extra this time. Doesn't win it very well. Okay. Needed some help there from Monkey Moon. And Seiko does clear. Vitality just slowly edging back into this.
Yeah, they nearly found a way through there, but credit to BDS. Just getting a piece of the ball in every single exchange. But unfortunately for Vitality, the fact that that was their glimmer in this game it shows how dire the rest of the game and the rest of the series has been for them, because that really wasn't much. They were definitely not even half chances, maybe quarter chances on a BDS net. They've got to figure something out. They've got to figure something out fast. Otherwise, one of the most one-sided matchups that has happened since RLCS Season X began will become even more one-sided, even after 2 roster changes that have happened, 1 on each team.
And it doesn't matter which version of this roster it is. For BDS, this is Catharsis. We were talking about it earlier on about the legacy that the former trio was going to leave, the one with Mark by 8. And the biggest blemish, as the ball is on the line and put in for number 4, the biggest blemish against them was that RLCSX Grand Finals, the one that BDS lost to Vitality. Every time BDS get a chance to beat Vitality and avenge that, they will take it.
Absolutely. It's a matchup they became so used to winning right up until the championships in RLCS Season X. And, you know, since then, they have been back to winning ways. But kickoff goals are happening at a strangely regular rate against, well, actually both teams today. Great physical play there after the kickoff by Vitality. Kid up, slots the open net with plenty time remaining to think about a comeback. But let's see if BDS are going to iron out these kickoff strategies to try and play them a little bit less risky. The key is to have at least 2 players ready to defend any potential play that can come off the kickoff from your opponents. If you leave somebody alone at the back, they're just vulnerable to being demoed, vulnerable to being bumped, vulnerable to being outplayed in a 1v2 situation, as we saw earlier in this game with Seiko and Extra scoring a kickoff goal in, I think, 5 seconds. So you've got to have some kind of backup plan if your kickoff doesn't go your way.
Vidosin challenging Seiko. Very difficult challenge to win, as Seiko proves. Now K-Dop doesn't have any boost to follow this up. Monkey Moon sees the ball away. A demo as well is going to slowly dissipate this play from Vitality. As time ticks further and further away, 2 goals is the deficit. Back to the corner. BDS have just settled down here. This has looked like maybe 3rd gear for them throughout the entirety of this series. As they do set it up, there's number 4, Monkey Moon, being the good guy, not choosing to steal it. I tell you what, Extra deserves those sort of goals. He has been on fire this game. What a fake out.
Yeah, a great play by BDS. It's Vitality who are having to stretch themselves pretty thin here in the hunt for a late comeback. They know that chances are few and far between today, and if you're not getting many opportunities, you're going to need to leave some gaps at the back. And they've done it again here. It's getting ugly, as game number 1 did also. You can't really blame Vitality too much. They have to take some risks here if they're going to come back. Unfortunately for them, BDS are just too consistent today. And they will, at this rate, be the team advancing to that upper final to play against Moist. That, I think, is a scary proposition for Moist, because BDS were probably the team who had the best matchup against Queso in the last split. And they're playing very, very consistently with Seiko. And I think this is going to be a great match for Moist later on in the tournament. That'll be tomorrow. And will they be good enough to beat them? Well, it's hard to tell, because Vitality were not too impressive against them today. So we don't know too much more about this BDS Seiko edition until they play against a team who are firing in all cylinders.
You're saying it's going to be scary for Moist. It's going to be scary for my heart rate. I have a feeling that with these two teams peaking, that could be fireworks, and there is also potential for 2 best-of-7s, maybe even 3, depending on how results go tomorrow. But BDS have secured their spot in the top 3. They are through to Championship Sunday. And maybe the other roster, the other fan base that is maybe secondarily the happiest compared to the BDS fans out there is the Misfits fans. They will be encouraged by what they just saw. They've got Vitality in the lower bracket later on today.
Yeah, not just Misfits, but every team outside of the top 3. They're really just hoping that BDS keep on winning. They're hoping that Moist keep on winning, because and even Dignitas, all the teams outside of the top 3 are hoping Dignitas keep on winning, because if the top 3 stay the top 3, they're not this event because Dignitas aren't here. But if they're still the top 3 at the end of this split, that means that there's more positions being fought for. So Vitality making a deep run here would have been bad news for every team on the cusp. Teams like Karmine Corp, teams like Misfits, even teams like Semper who are eliminated. All these teams are going to be delighted that Vitality are now in the lower bracket, and it's still BDS and Moist who are winning.
Yeah, certainly so. I mean, what a day of Rocket League we have had, but for BDS, just managed to breeze on through in this round. A bit of a contrast from what we had over in our last series, but it is now time for us to head into the matches where it is all to play for. We're going to go for a break. When we come back, we've got ourselves some lower bracket action.